welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I'm going to do a quick flip through and review of Troika, Numinous edition by Melsonian Arts Council. It was written by Daniel Sell. There's a number of credited accomplices to this work, but I think the illustrations that I'm going to point out are probably the craziest stuff in here. So Jeremy Duncan, Dirk Detweller, Leichter, Sam Mameli, and Andrew Walter all contributed art. This is a well-loved copy. It's a hardbound, case-bound, really, really nice, actually, construction. Beautiful art on the cover. Inside covers, you've got the oops table. This is when your wizarding fails in a dramatic way. You roll on this. And then you've got your weapon damage and random spell table here, which are super useful. These are exactly the kind of tables you would need. The way that Troika does damage is a little interesting, so you need tables for it. One weird thing about this book you'll notice is that there's 2 pages and then a gap, and then 40 is the next kind of page of interesting stuff. So the reason for this, you've got an introduction, it's brief, and then character creation. You roll the 3 stats, skill, stamina, and luck. You record your possessions, and then you roll for a background. Now, a background is basically a class, but it's mostly described by its possessions, its skills, and its special abilities. So they even have a section here about creating your own backgrounds, which is great. But I would recommend starting with the D66 table that comes in the book. Each of them has a very evocative illustration, and usually they have about a paragraph or so of very evocative, unexplained text. So it's left to the reader to kind of stitch together the world that could output these characters, but there is a lot of color here. It's pretty wild. So absolutely worth it just to sit around and read through these amazing character backgrounds. Lonesome Monarch, member of Miss Kinsey's Dining Club. I think, they get metal teeth, I think? Yeah, sharp metal dentures. One of Chelsea's favorites. Kinsey's Dining Club. The Monkey Monger, the Necromancer, Parchment Witch. Amazing. Derivative Dwarves, these guys are great. Red Priests. Yeah, so many cool characters here. So there's 36. It's a D66 table. One thing you'll find about Troika is that it uses the D6 pretty much to the exclusion of all else. And so you'll want to have a couple of D6s on hand to play this game. Again, more amazing evocative art. The rules. So, the rules to the game are really, really straightforward. So it describes rolling the dice. Rolling under and rolling versus are kind of the 2 different kinds of rolls. Most of the time you'll be rolling under unless you're going up against a combatant or something, in which case you'll roll versus. Advanced skills can be applied to your roll. So can spell ranks. So that's kind of how that works. Luck is a stat that you test. So it's kind of like if you would imagine how saving throws would work, but it gets smaller the more you use it. So you need to recover luck the same as you would recover stamina. And that's all described here. Gaining and losing luck, using luck in combat. Optional, luck versus death. So there's some optional rules built in. You'll notice that it's kind of a numbered list of sublists for each of the sections here. And there really isn't a ton of rules to the game. Probably the most, controversial part of the game is the initiative, which uses it uses a stack that you assemble. This can be done with like cards or tokens or other kind of things like that. We use a digital one from Technical Grimoire for most of our play, although having a physical stack is also pretty enjoyable. But yeah, using the stack creates some very strange results sometimes, where the end of round token will maybe come up immediately. So the round will start and the end of round token will get pulled and nobody will have done anything. where each round of combat is supposed to kind of take about a minute. So yeah, there's kind of a rationale here. How this works, though, in practice is that because a attacking melee combatant is putting themselves at risk, so if you attack somebody, you'll roll 2d6 plus your rank in whatever skill you're using to attack with, and they will roll against you with the same. So if they say you're a sword user and the other guy's a mace user, you'll roll an add and they'll roll an add. And the higher one is the one who does the damage. So if you attack someone, you are also inviting them to hit you should they overpower your attack. It's a really, really cool way to kind of balance out action economy, if you will. It's kind of how it sorts. But yeah, they go into shooting someone, so there's ranged attacks, obviously. That's kind of preferred, because usually you can't be counterattacked in a range attack. Casting a spell, and how that works. You can delay, you can move. Retrieving an item is interesting in that you have to roll under the item's location in your bag to retrieve it. I'm sorry. No, actually, it's you roll 2d6 and score equal or higher than its position in your inventory. So your inventory is an ordered list of items, and if you need to grab something quickly, you better hope the thing you're trying to grab is higher up the list, or that the dice are on your side. Really, really cool little trick there, method of accomplishing things. You can use an item that you're holding, and then there's an explanation of how grappling works, which, surprisingly comes up a lot. Like, the grappling rules are good to have. So, thanks, Daniel. Other concerns. So we're in section 7 of the rules here. As you can see, we're only 7 pages past the first rules, right? And we're covering drowning, cover, mighty blows, hitting someone unawares, fumble, shields, falling over, right? And then you've got your damage rules, you've got your armor rules. The armor rules, not fantastic as far as I'm concerned. They did definitely leave something to be desired in terms of how combat actually flows. Although I think it's a cool concept. And then encumbrance, which is honestly one of the kind of critical components of Troika, is how much stuff you're carrying really has an impact on how you're doing. This is about improvement, which I've got some variations on this that I use, but I think it's a really cool improvement system. And then advanced skill descriptions is section 12. So this describes all of the advanced skills that appear in this book. Of course, you are always welcome to make up new skills. In fact, on the Melsonian Arts Discord, there was, or maybe is, a channel that's like just a list, an ever-growing list of advanced skills of random stuff that people make up. Here's the items. So this is kind of the core treasure, again, that's described here in the book and what impact it has. Most of these things are pretty strange, bespoke little objects that have really specific purposes within the world of Troika, but they're also super strange. So, yeah, mileage may vary here, but it is a very evocative and weird little collection of objects. You got your spell descriptions here. Again, most of these are not, it's light on the rules and kind of heavy on the vibes, but even then, it's pretty terse. This doesn't really give you a whole hell of a lot to work with. But what it gives you is like, it is what it is. Like, you're just going to have to use it as it's described. As a game master running this, my suggestion would be to just lean into what the players are trying to do, and yes, and more often than not. Nice collection of, I think, 36 spells. I'm pretty sure. Got your D66 table of random spells. Another amazing piece of art. Got a little dong and some tits on it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. More spells. Then we got our enemies. So this describes how enemy stat blocks work. And then you go straight into the bestiary, which is a stack of creatures. One of the coolest things about Troika in terms of the creatures is that they have usually a main table that comes with them. This is like a description of the state that they're currently in, so you can think of it like a reaction table, and it can be really helpful for setting the scene of like what a creature's state is when they are introduced to the party. So you can get through the list of creatures here. Got some wild, the Manticore, I think, here. Some wild art. Absolutely wild art. Night Pig. Gotta love me a Night Pig or a Piscean. Little fish people. They're feathered folk. Thinking engines. Tigers. Yeah, they're just such a wild, crazy collection of creatures. And then, cool thing about this book is it comes with section 16 of the rules is the Blancmange and the Thistle. It's an introductory adventure. And I think for the most part, this adventure happens inside of an elevator or like a set of stairs. And so, yeah, you're just going up this kind of strange tower and interacting with these transdimensional beings and all this strange stuff. This is your map, the location, and then you've got your character sheet right here in the back. Very nice, easy to reproduce with a copy machine. And that is the Melsonian Arts Council's Troika Numinous Edition. One of my favorite games. Definitely recommend people play it. If you want to play this game, you should pick up some of our adventures. Puppets of Beagle Mouse, Murder at the Motel's Hotel, and Drawn from the Margins. Drawn from the Margins are all adventures written for Troika, and we have plans to write many, many more. We love Melsonian Arts Council. Please go support their work. Join the Friends of Melsonia. If you like this video and you like what we do here, you should go to watcherdn.com where you can pick up any of our creations. Of course, you can like and subscribe this video, do the thing that YouTube demands that we do. And otherwise, just have a great day. Thanks for playing.